Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Hockey Valley Report. I'm Steve Penstone.
And last time I checked, I'm Rodney Martin. Today we'll be bringing you an extended version of the show as we have a full 3 weekends of Penn State hockey action to cover. Next week we'll be back to our regular 2-week format.
I want to know when was the last time you checked that you are, in fact, Rodney Martin. On tonight's show, we'll be looking at the number 1 ranked Icers sweeps of number 5 Ohio and number 13 Rhode Island. A huge come-from-behind win against NCAA Division III Fredonia State and the victory over in-state rival the Pitt Panthers.
And the Lady Icers had a great October, and we'll be checking in with Rob Pedlow to get all the highlights. But let's start the program with the Division II Ice Lions. Reporter Alan Sutherland takes us through the team's recent 6-game winning streak, which has earned them a number 3 ranking in the ACHA Division II Southeast region.
The Ice Lions played a huge set of games since we last checked in. That's 7 games in 3 weeks. After shutting out Monmouth 7-0 to kick off the 3-game road trip, the Ice Lions went to Ryder to visit the Bronx. Here we are in the first period, no score yet. That's Tyler Starn and Albert Giuliano chasing down a loose puck. Oh, and the glass goes out. Now that's not something you see every day. Let's take another look at that. Starn goes chasing after the puck and flips over a Ryder defenseman. Skate goes up in the glass, and the glass just can't handle that. Oh, looks like they're taking a pain from the bench, and looks like we're got it all replaced, ready to go back to play. Back to the first period. Joe Zittarelli takes a shot on net, and Chris Lewis is there to clean up to go up 1-0. Second period now. Frederick Linga takes it into the offensive zone. Finds Pat Kinch, who puts it in. Ice Lions 2-0. Moving right along. Third period, it's 2-1 Penn State. Frank Garvey takes it away, and he gets loose. Puts a nice move on Tom Bodali there to tie it up. 3 minutes to go now. Matt Venois takes it all the way up the ice, and he finds Chris Lewis. And that's your game winner. The Ice Lions would tack on 2 more to win 5-2. Here they are against St. Joseph's in the 3rd game of the weekend. First period now. Jim Recupero rips one on net. Pat Kinch is there to puts it home. And it was the first of many on the night for the Ice Lions. The Ice Lions scored 7 goals while shutting out the Hawks. Austin Wagner had 2 goals on the night, including this pretty one right here. His first 2 on the season. Wags, how good was it to get that first goal?
I tell you what, it was good to get that monkey off my back. It's been coming for a while, and I had a lot of help from my line mates on that one, and it felt good.
Fast forward 1 week here, the Ice Lions against Indiana University of Pennsylvania. First period, Wagner's right there, but it's Joe Zittarelli who puts it through. 1-0 Ice Lions. Later in the period, Jim Recupero fires one across and finds Mac Winchester. That's 2-0 Ice Lions. Still in the first period, there's Pat Kinch who finds Recupero coming across the middle. That's 3-0 Ice Lions, and you're starting to sense a bit of a theme here. The Ice Lions scored 13 on the night to win 13-2. Ryan Urban had a hat trick, his first 3 goals of the season. Now against Virginia Tech, the Greenberg Ice Pavilion is rocking to the sounds of the Insomniacs. On to game action here. That's Ryan Seifert going hard, and the puck goes in. Yep, that's a good goal. Later in the first, Chris Dinsmore plays it off the boards, takes an Ice Lions bounce, and Chris Lewis is there to take advantage. That's 2-0 Ice Lions. Still in the first, that's Ryan Seifert taking it up, and there's Joe Zittarelli putting it through, and the Ice Lions are up 3. After a scoreless second, here we are in the third. That's Keegan Hinson who puts it past to cut the Ice Lions lead to 2, but ultimately it's too little too late. Right off the draw, Chris Lewis shoots at the length of the ice, and it finds Twine, and that's how it would end. The Ice Lions would win 4-1. Virginia Tech would get another shot, though, playing Saturday afternoon. That's Joe Zittarelli putting some nifty moves on there. He finds Frank Walusko, and the Ice Lions have the early lead. Virginia Tech would answer right back, though. Still in the first, that's Pat Kinch crashing the net, and he's rewarded for his hard work to put the Ice Lions back on top. Same score in the third. There's Kinch, who finds Recupero, puts it off Chris Lewis' sticking in, and that would be the final goal. The Ice Lions win 3-1. The team would travel to Temple the next day to take on the Owls. Frederick Linga snipes it in, and there's a little extracurricular activity there. Ice Lions 1-0. Later in the first, Pat Kinch takes it away in the offensive zone, and he finds Chris Lewis to put the Ice Lions up 2. Second period now. Ryan Gannon takes up the boards. Mac Winchester's crashing the net, and he's able to score. That's 3-0 Ice Lions. Still in the second, Chris Lewis wins the puck battle and takes up the boards. And my, what a combination this has been. Jim Recupero puts it through, and that would be your final. 4-0. And Ice Lions fans certainly have a lot to be happy about lately. Back to you, Steve.
Well, solid play by the Ice Lions, and it was very exciting to have the Insomniacs stop by the Greenberg Pavilion. Really added a lot to the game experience.
Indeed, hats off to Coach Hand for getting his guys to play the type of hockey that keeps opponents awake at night. Okay, enough with the bad puns. Now we want to send it to our on-ice reporter, Scott Perloff, with Perloff's Pointers.
Well, this week Scott puts on the skates and he gets tips on face-off techniques and rules from some guys who are pretty good at it.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Perloff's Pointers. I'm Scott Perloff here with Rob Pedlow and Icers forwards Jake Friedman and Josh Daley. Today we're going to talk about the wheres, whens, and whys of faceoffs. Now let's jump in the faceoff circle where Josh is going to square off against Jake. Now notice the lines around the circle where the ref drops the puck. Players must keep their skates behind these lines on their side of the circle. Now they're not allowed to cross the lines until the puck is dropped. Now in the face-off circle, at any time a player is being too aggressive with his stick or steps over the line, the ref can choose to throw him out. And it looks like Jake's being a little bit aggressive and, well, Rob threw him out of the circle. All right, I guess I'm gonna have to take the face-off. Let's see what I got here. Now I'm gonna take it over the glass where we have a diagram of the rink set up, and I'm gonna be able to explain to you exactly where and why we take the face-offs. So on an ice rink, you have 9 face-off circles. You have 2 in each offensive zone, 2 in each neutral zone, and 1 at center ice. Now, to determine where a face-off takes place, it all depends on the play. If player X ices the puck down into the offensive zone, the puck's gonna come all the way back to the circle that's closest to the play in his defensive zone. So for this instance, player X is closest to here, so this is where the face-off's gonna take place. Now, for an offsides, if say player X is offsides at this line, the play is going to come back to the closest face-off circle in the neutral zone, which would be right here. So then the puck is going to be dropped, and the play will start from there. Now, in an offensive zone, when the puck goes out of play, there's certain rules for where the puck is dropped next. Now, if the puck goes off of a defensive player stick and goes out of play, that play stays in the defensive zone, and the puck is dropped closest to where the play occurred. Now, if it goes off of an offensive player stick and goes out of the zone, that play is taken to the neutral zone closest to where the play occurred. Thanks for tuning in to this week's edition of Perloff's Pointers. Come join us next week when we talk about different positioning on the ice. And if you want more information and web extras, visit PennStateHockey.com. Now I'm going to send it back to Stephen Rodney at Innovation Park.
Thanks very much, Scott. It's hard to always know where to look for that next face-off.
Well, we're going to take a break right now in the action. And join us in a few moments when we face off right back here at Center Ice on the Hockey Valley Report. Welcome back to the Hockey Valley Report. I'm Rodney Martin.
And I'm Steve Penstone. Let's turn our attention to the Penn State women's program. The Lady Icers have been quite busy since we last checked in with them, playing 5 games in the last 3 weekends, and in that time, they've played some outstanding hockey against some really tough competitors. The women's team correspondent Rob Pedlow has all of the highlights for you. Certainly impressive how well the girls have stacked up against some quality NCAA teams, which, Rodney, certainly bodes well for the future as the team moves into varsity status next year.
Absolutely, Steve. I couldn't agree with you more. Coach Bramley has done a phenomenal job prepping the team thoroughly for each game.
All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with a couple of the Icers, senior forward Paul Daley and sophomore transfer Taylor Holstrom, and we'll take a look at the Icers' victories with Paul and Taylor.
See you in a few.
And welcome back. It's a pleasure to be joined by 2 of the men under the helmets, so to speak, senior Paul Daley and sophomore Taylor Holstrom. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
So you got the Movember thing going here with the mustaches?
Yeah, this is my terrible attempt at it, but it's just more for fun than anything.
Is that a team-wide thing are we doing?
A couple of the guys said they were going to do it, but I'm the one that got stuck with it longer than anyone else, so...
Not the George Peros where you can shave it off and it's back the next day.
Oh, yeah.
I think Collins is probably, he might be one of the guys that could do that.
Oh, you sure can.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of
you
hockey,
okay.
Yes, so we have a lot of hockey to cover.
Hockey related.
That's
For
absolutely
those
is.
who don't know, the NHL players are all doing it. It's cancer related.
For cancer research.
Research,
yes.
Exactly.
That's a great cause.
Yeah, and a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun.
And a lot of fun.
So, as we said, got a lot of hockey to cover. Got 3 weeks of hockey to cover. Ohio, Rhode Island. And I guess you can call that the extra long weekend. And then we got 2 games this past weekend against Fredonia State and Pitt. Let's just jump right into Ohio. Taylor, was your first time facing Ohio. Paul, you're probably 8th or 9th time facing them.
Way more than that, I think, too. 4 per year.
Yeah,
Yep.
about that, yeah.
And we played them 5 times my freshman year, too.
Yeah, the tournament game. Yeah, exactly. Did you guys, the senior class, kind of give the new guys a heads up of what they could expect from the Bobcats?
Yeah, I mean, we just basically told them that it's a big rivalry game, and they always field a pretty competitive team, and always every year, no matter where the teams are in the rankings, that it's going to be a battle, and it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a very physical weekend. So basically, that's what we told them, just to kind of prep them for their first experience against the Bobcats.
And of course, Dan Morris always has him well coached, but it seems he steps it up a notch when he's facing you guys.
Yeah, I think so. And even if just the players on their own know it's a rivalry game, that's always a big game. Guys will just elevate their play each and every time against us, and it's something that I really enjoyed. It makes the hockey a lot of fun to play.
Now, we asked this of some of the other players, and of course we asked Coach Godowski. Taylor, either as a player or as a fan, what were some of your favorite rivalries?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah. Well, I'm a Ducks fan, so Ducks and Kings is always a good one. It's a local one, but
local to you.
Yeah, local. Yeah, local to me, but I don't know.
I mean, as a player, I mean, whether going up playing junior or playing Mercyhurst or.
Yeah, when I was playing juniors, I played for the Omaha Lancers, and one of the oldest and most prominent rivalries in the league was the Omaha Lancers and the Lincoln Stars, and every time we played, there was at least 3 fights, and it just, I mean, one time our coach brought in ex-players, and basically they told stories of fights and games, and it's just takes it to a whole nother level.
No putting on the foil though.
No, none of that. Yeah.
What was your impression? You'd gone to Illinois the weekend before. Illinois is going through some struggles right now. Even though Ohio was banged up and had a lot of their regulars out of the lineup, what was your impression of how they played?
Of Illinois?
Yeah. No, of Ohio.
Oh, of Ohio. Yeah, they were a tough team. I mean, it got chippy at some points, but they were a tough team. The game we played them, I think the score didn't really show how the game really was. I mean, it was 7-1, but it was a lot closer than that, I thought.
And this was the second week in a row. We go back to what happened in Illinois, where you won big on Friday night, and they played much better on Saturday. It was the same thing with the Bobcats. In fact, for the first time this season, you found yourselves down by a goal through the first 40 minutes. A bit of a difference, Paul, between Friday night and Saturday?
Yeah, I think so. I think teams get to adjust to us because we always play the same game and try to perfect all of our systems, and we don't really worry about anyone else. We let them worry about us. So I think that's what's been going on. And like you said, we were down for the first time all year against Ohio the second game, and we kind of took it upon ourselves without any coaches in the locker room, second intermission, saying that it's our first true test, kind of see what we're made of. And we all believed in each other, and we came out on top. So first test, I guess we passed. And we know now when it comes up again in the season, which it will, that we should be just fine.
Now, I wanted to touch on that real quick because you said that, and a number of other people have said that, and Coach Godowski himself has said that. He says, we're just going to play our game. We're not going to worry about. How is that different? I mean, you've played under various coaches, coming up through playing your entire hockey career. Is that kind of unique to Coach Godowski, or have you either one of you answered the question? Is that kind of unique to Coach Godowski, or is that something that you've experienced before?
Well, I think it is kind of unique. When you're playing other teams, when I played on other teams, the coach kind of does video and kind of shows their power play and their kind of style of their gameplay. And with this team and Coach Godowski, we're just going to focus on us, and I think that's the better way to do it because we're focused on what we need to do rather than how to stop them.
Mm-hmm. So it's almost like you can spend too much time watching video. I know from Joe Battista to Coach Balboni, they relied a lot on the video, but certainly it brought success. But Coach Godowski, as Taylor says, a totally different philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, we don't even watch that much video. We do watch a few clips a week, and it's never of our opponents. It's always about our mistakes. Mm-hmm. So, it's usually 4 or 5 clips, and it's really about our identity, what he wants us to focus on. When guys make, a mistake, if one of the things he really emphasizes, he'll put that up and just let everyone know that's not the way we do it, and then he'll talk about how he wants it to be done.
So we move from one rivalry game to another, a more recent rivalry going to Rhode Island. We'll get into the details of the coming home, but again, going up to Rhode Island this year, does it kind of have a little bit of a different feel now? I mean, obviously with the 15 new players on the roster, but I mean, was it kind of the same kind of, I guess you could call it a good hate that was put on during the game? Did you get that sense?
Yeah, I had the same sense, the same feeling as the first 3 years that I played here. Like Ohio, they're always ready to play us. They're a pretty gritty team. Gets a little bit chippy, and one of the things they're really good at is faceoffs. I know their coach Augustine, has them really bear down on faceoffs. So we struggled with that a little bit on the first night, and second night I think we corrected that. And possessing the puck much more off the faceoff wins, I think, was a huge asset to our win on Saturday.
And certainly, it's a little different being out of the conference, as the conference was there, the SCHL, for the last few years. That developed the rivalry along with the other teams in the conference. And I thought their team certainly is going through some struggles, because they had lost 2 games the weekend before for the first time, I think, in 45 games, going down to Delaware and being swept, and it's continued. They were swept by Westchester this past weekend. So obviously it's not the same as what you saw, Paul, in your first 3 years going up there.
Yeah, I think being in the same conference definitely adds a little bit more to the rivalry. But even though we're independent now and they're still in the Eshel, it's just the tradition of being a rival with them that I think makes the game pretty special. I always look forward to Rhode Island playing them every year. So,
Taylor, Coach sat Tommy out as a precaution on Saturday. Chris Cerruti moved in with you and Kirsch, and really did not look out of place. In fact, I talked to him after you guys got back home, and he said the two of you really helped elevate his game. How was it playing with Chris on that line?
Yeah, it was great. I mean, it's nice to have a player that can step in and fill that role in your line if something does happen. But I mean, I believe he got his first goal, his first game back, so that was a good thing for him, and he played well. I mean, we were able to play the same style that my line likes to play.
So, for those now we can talk about when they got back.
Yeah.
Well, when they got back, for those who don't know, one of you guys could take this. What exactly happened on the way home? And
It's all you.
Well,
let the senior have it.
let the senior have it. Yeah.
I guess we were looking at the forecast a little bit, and we realized that snow might be a factor on the ride home. So Saturday at 4 o'clock, we played our game. Probably got on the road about 7:30 or 8, and a little bit into our trip, the snow started picking up a bit. Eventually, we had to stop, and I saw Coach Downey, the director of hockey operations, on his phone. I assumed looking for hotels or safe havens, and unfortunately, he couldn't find any. So we had to get off the highway and basically camp out in a parking lot for the night on the team bus with just each other. And in the morning, we got on the road, got some breakfast, and the bus's transmission broke, so we had to wait a little bit longer for a replacement bus, and we got home around 4 p.m. on Sunday, so it was quite a trip.
Again, another trip that makes me glad that I'm not traveling with the team, and you too, eh?
Well, yeah, because Barb and I travel separately on our own, and we stayed overnight. In fact, we got a text from a parent who shall remain nameless, Mary Daley, but she said she wanted to know if we could help to try and find some hotel rooms, and there really weren't any. I know Billy Downey really tried to find somewhere for you guys to stay other than on the bus, but yeah, I mean, you got home I think around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We left at 10 o'clock and got home at 5, and it was just one of those freak storms that unfortunately hockey teams have to deal with. You ever had something like that in all your days? Obviously, maybe not last year at Mercyhurst, but what about playing junior out there in the Midwest?
Not that I remember. I mean, last year we did actually have one, but it was we didn't break down or anything. We got stuck in a snowbank, probably about 50 yards from campus. So we had to unload the bus and push all the boxes and carry all our bags the whole way. But that's close as I could.
And you were of course a freshman then, so
yeah, that's what I had to do.
Yeah, so you had to do
Yeah, the dirty work. Yeah.
Well, I want to get back to you're talking about Chris Cerruti moving in Tommy's spot at Rhode Island, but you and Tommy and Kirsch have just been lighting it up right from the opening weekend. What's been the key to the success of the line?
I think just working hard. We we all work hard. We all get the puck deep. We try to minimize mistakes and make plays, get open for each other.
And Paul, the guys that have come back from last year's team have made great contributions. Your line has been working hard, doing the dirty work down low, and the line of Sodsteinauer and Collins have been just as effective almost as Tommy and Kirsch and Taylor. So I mean, it's a good mix of talent and you know, speed obviously is a factor in a couple of the lines, and then 2 lines of really what Don Cherry would call the lunch pail guys, yourself included.
Yeah, I think it's a nice mix we have. You know, the team's been meshing well, and we have a lot of different playing styles from individual players that I think really benefit our play. We can come with skill, speed, you know, size, strength. I feel like we have it all right now, and hopefully when we face different challenges, those different skill sets will come out and shine and, you know, help us prevail. Well,
speaking of which, you had to do that on the Saturday night, a rare Saturday night game against NCAA Division III Fredonia State. And going in, I mean, having had what happened with Ohio and Rhode Island when they were both banged up, this really was the toughest test, I think, so far this first semester. And like Ohio on the Saturday, you got behind, but this time by a couple of goals, and rallied with, started off with Jake Friedman's goal late in the second period, and then you added 2 more in the third to come away with the 5-4 victory. That was a heck of a hockey game.
Yeah, it was a great game to play in. Fredonia was a great team, and you know, we have a lot of different players who can step up in different situations and score goals. So I think that's great for us, and it's nice to see that we have had guys, different guys, you know, almost every game step up and, you know, get us the wins.
I was speaking with the linesman, the same linesman who worked the Saturday night game came in on Sunday, and he was commenting about how incredible of a game that was and how fast of a game was. And I want to get Taylor. I wanted to get your perspective. He said, looks like the only thing that you guys, meaning Penn State, is going to need to catch up on is the size, because I mean Fredonia they were a pretty big team. He says you obviously have the skill. What do you think is the key thing as we move forward and maybe into the next year transitioning? I mean, we saw a little bit of what an NCAA opponent would be like on Saturday, and you having played a whole year of NCAA Division I. Would you agree with that assessment that size is the biggest thing, or? I mean, not
really. I mean, I'm 5'8" on a good day, so and I think it's pretty common. I mean, the way the rules have changed a couple of years ago, that shorter hockey players can be successful. You see guys under 5'10" littered through NCAA or Division I, but I mean, it is an advantage. I mean, Big D are hard to play against, but it's not impossible to beat them. So.
Well, you look at some of the recent Hobie Baker winners that have gone on to great careers in the NHL. Nathan Gerby, Gianta. I mean, that's just a couple of guys off the top of my head. And as you say, I mean, if you're talented, it doesn't matter really how big you are. It's all what's in here, right?
Exactly.
I think so. The smaller guys are hard to catch. So.
Well, and you know, you had this really emotional game. I know. That was one of those games where at the end of it, I feel like I've been out there playing, you know, because I was just emotionally drained, especially down the last couple of minutes where Matt Madrazo was standing on his head after what he admitted to me was a shaky start. He really settled down in the third period and preserved the win. But, you know, you had that emotional game. Then you have to come back next afternoon for the Sunday matinee against Pitt, and obviously, you know, 2 different talent levels there. You avoided the emotional letdown, which I thought was going to be, you know, it was going to be one of those trap games that might just come up and bite you.
I'll take this one.
You played.
Oh yeah. All right.
That's right. You got the afternoon off.
I mean, yeah, it was short rest, but you know, we got home, got to bed, make sure we get our meals in us, and you know, we knew that that was a possibility that you know, we could be worn out from the game the night before, but we really stuck to our systems and kept focused, and you know, we came out on top, and I thought we played pretty well on top of that. I think we had around 60 shots, so you know, it was an overall good effort, and we got a lot of different guys in the lineup that normally don't play, so it was also good.
And they made some contributions as well. So, you know, we've talked about it with the coach and with the guys, through the first few weeks of the season. The depth on this team is just outstanding. I mean, it always has been on the Icers, as you well know, Paul. But both of you can respond to this. I mean, anybody can step in. You know, Taylor, you talked about Chris stepping in at Rhode Island, and that certainly bodes well for the rest of this season. Well,
yeah, it's important. I mean, one line's not going to win anything, and I believe we have 4 lines that show up every night, and when everybody's chipping in, that's what you want out of a team. Those are championship teams.
So one guy that we were mentioning here before on camera that's really kind of stepped in, coming in as a forward playing defense, coming in playing forward in defense, and forward in defense is Forrest Dell, and we were talking about, can you kind of let us into what Fodell Problems is on Twitter? Or is that something that's not for the camera?
I guess I'll just say that it's just a few different stories and situations of a young buck, experienced college for the first time. So he's.
So we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
we'll leave it at that.
I have memories of that myself, so we'll leave it at that.
Well, Paul, Taylor, we want to thank you so much for coming in. It's been great having you here.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Well, I want to echo what Rodney said and thank Taylor and Paul for coming in and talking hockey with us today. And if you've got a favorite player or a coach you want to see on the show, or if you have a question or a comment, you can email the show, go to the website, PennStateHockey.com, or you can even tweet producer Vince Chandler at VinnyChant, C-H-A-N-T. We'll take a break and be back in just a minute.
Sweet.
It's been a good season so far for Penn State hockey, and there's still a lot of time and a lot of hockey left before the December break. Now, before we're back in the studio again, the Icers will be facing old rival Westchester University for the last time at the Greenberg Ice Pavilion.
And in an effort to cover the entire Keystone State, the Ice Lions will be heading east to Philadelphia and face ACHA Division I Drexel, and the ladies are heading west to Pittsburgh to take on California University of Pennsylvania. And we'll be heading right back here in studio in 1 week, looking at these 3 games and devoting a little more time to our on-ice segments.
And we look forward to reviewing, we hope, a lot of Penn State victories next time on the Hockey Valley Report. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Remember to check out PennStateHockey.com for more information, additional video clips, and a whole lot more. And you can email the show at hockeyvalleyreport@gmail.com. I'm Steve Penstone.
And I'm Rodney Martin.
You sure?
Absolutely.
Okay. And we want to thank our special guests today, senior Paul Daley and sophomore Taylor Holstrom.
And we hope not to have blooper reels for the website.
Yeah.
Because we gave plenty of material today.
Yes, we did.
But thank you for joining us on this edition of the Hockey Valley Report.